The rumors are true. The MCU made a Star Wars film. Let's talk about it. What is up, Cinemaniacs? My name is the Critical Cinemaniac. Welcome back to another review. So, Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania has finally come out, and we finally have our first look at Phase 5 of the MCU. So, I'm sure everybody's seen the rumors by now. I know the movie has just came out, but you know, the first screenings had already told us that this was going to be a Star Wars-like movie. And honestly, I could not agree more. I went into this thinking, what does a Star Wars-like movie really feel like? What does it really look like? And it's Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. This is the most Star Wars movie that's not a Star Wars movie since like Spaceballs. However, it's not as silly and goofy, and it takes itself very, very seriously and sets the tone for what we could be seeing throughout the rest of the MCU's Phase 5. And I am both impressed and looking forward to future projects of Phase 5. I want to talk about the visuals here first. The visuals here are amazing. The creatures, the aliens that we see from the quantum realm are just so outlandish and just extraterrestrial. Like, they are not of this world. And I love that they use the fact that we're in the quantum realm, a place that is so absolutely alien to us that we could not possibly fathom. The world designers and the story writers all use this to their advantage to make this just like the most weirdly, oddly satisfying visual piece that I've seen. As I was watching it, I could just only imagine like a fusion of Star Wars, and if Mad Max had like a baby, it'd be kind of like that. Everything here looks really, really good, really, really well done. It's very clean and it looks very realistic for the most part. There are a few shots, especially in the beginning, which I was really worried about because I was thinking to myself, ooh, that looks kind of rough. However, as the movie goes on, they spend all their time here in this third act to make sure everything in the third act was absolutely beautiful, and it paid off. Continuing with the metaphor of this being a Star Wars movie or a Star Wars like, which would make it a simile, the characters here are all rather simple. The motivations for our characters are fairly simple, however believable, and they have a purpose throughout the film. There are a few weak character arcs. I would say that Janet Van Dyne and maybe Hope are the weakest characters in this whole movie. However, Scott's arc here, believable. I could definitely see a father committing the actions that he commits throughout the film. Of course, though, the standout and the one that we were all worried about, just hoping would be the most amazing performance of this entire movie to really set the tone and compete with what we already had in the MCU, like Thanos and his amazing villainous arc that we've seen throughout the MCU with him. Jonathan Majors, Kang the Conqueror. Does he have that screen presence? Does he have that voice? Does he have that command? Does he have that atmosphere about him? And I'll just say this, if this is the MCU's take on a Star Wars, then Jonathan Majors, Kang the Conqueror, is the Darth Vader of the MCU. I mean, this dude was able to pull off so much of a commanding presence and fear and just control every single time that he was on screen that you had no other choice but to fear this man and feel as though he had every situation planned out to a T and that there was never any type of threat to his plans. And that is just such a cool thing for a villain to be, is like, not only is Kang the Conqueror in the comics like an omnipresent, omnipowerful being that no one can really touch because he exists through time. His technology is to such an advanced degree that he's like a god among men because you literally have no idea how it works. And that they take full advantage of that here as well. I mean, this is a comic lover's dream to see Kang the Conqueror brought to life within the MCU. Those are my raw thoughts. I say this is an amazing movie. This movie is hard. This movie's solid. This movie's great. I would say go see this. And if you're worried about the MCU losing its touch, losing that greatness, especially after seeing the weak performances from last year with the ever questionable Thor: Love and Thunder and the mostly mild Wakanda Forever, which is a good movie but yet very, very sad and likely doesn't have that rewatchability power. This movie is a must-watch for the MCU, and they made sure that if you go back and watch this again, you will have fun and you will be entertained. So, that being said, Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania is hard. And I recommend that you go see this as soon as possible and support these good MCU projects. Whenever these good projects do really, really well, it gives a message to Disney, it gives a message to Marvel that we want these good, solid projects with that strong story, with those great characters from the comics that we love to see, in these great out of these world adventures that have these fantastical characters that we all grew up reading, loving, and watching now through film. But yeah, so those are my raw emotions, raw feelings through this film. Should you go see it? Yes. That's all there is to it. Should you go see it? Yes. Okay. So let's get into the stats for nerds part. Okay, this is the objective. This is my objective thoughts and what makes a movie good versus bad. Just know the scoring is going to be high. All right. So anyway, without further ado, let's get into numbers for nerds. Cinematic here got a 9 out of 10. Everything looked really, really great, really, really amazing, except for a few of the opening shots. The quantum realm is beautiful. Everything here looks so amazing, and it looks like a world that I would love to live in, but of course can't because I can't shrink. Characters here got an 8 out of 10. Almost all the characters here are very, very strong and go through some serious trauma with believable arcs up to this point, especially Scott. Also, Kang is a fucking beast. Oh my god. Let me tell you something real quick, okay? Kang the Conqueror in this movie is chef's kiss. Oh my god, it's so good. But back to the numbers. Conflict here was a 9 out of 10. Everything here was very believable once again, and all looked really, really well done. That third act was a fucking masterpiece, let me tell you. There were a few moments where I thought could have been better, or something else could have happened maybe, or something happened in a particular way that I didn't really enjoy, or I wouldn't have done it that way. That's why I gave it a 9 out of 10. It's all really, really well done. It's just a creative decision that I personally would have done something else, or just not had that happen. Dialogue was a 9 out of 10. The dialogue here is actually really, really good. There are some funny lines. There's some great communication here. It's actually good. For a Marvel movie, this is so good. It even holds up to like full-on movies at this point. Like what is going on with Marvel now, okay? The dialogue for Wakanda Forever was really good. The dialogue here is actually entertaining. Not everybody's a quip machine. And I kind of fuck with it, okay? Plot here was also a 9 out of 10. The plot makes sense from point A to point B. There are a couple of contrivances that I would point out in a spoiler section. Suspense was a 10 out of 10. I was totally hooked. I didn't even look up the runtime of this movie. I went into this, saw it at night, didn't pull up my phone once to see how long we had been there. I showed up at a showing at 7:25 and walked out whenever the fuck I walked out because I had fun and I enjoyed the entire time. I didn't even care. This could have been a 3-hour movie, 3.5-hour long movie. I was happy to be there. I had fun with the characters. I had fun with the world. That's a solid movie. Like I said already, this movie is hard. That means this movie is a 9 out of 10 movie. Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, 9 out of 10. Final rating, total score. Go see it. What the fuck are you still doing watch this review for? Get out there, go see it, come back here, and let me know what you thought of the movie down in the comment section below. But with that being said, those are all my raw thoughts, emotions, feelings for you to chew on, digest, spit out, do whatever you want with. And yeah, that's going to be a movie review from me, the Critical Cinemaniac. If you enjoyed, please don't be afraid to like, share, subscribe, you know, all those YouTube things that you hear everybody else tell you to do anyways. And I will see you in the next one. Peace.